Hi guys, and welcome to my review of the Raptgo Leaf. Um, this was a tough one. Let me tell you that much. It was a tough one because although I've had the Leaf for some time now, I actually hadn't given it its deserved listening time. And then by pure coincidence, I watched a fellow reviewer's take on the Leaf, where he basically says it's a no-go set. Do not go there. Do not buy it. It's bad, and that kind of triggered off all alarms, and and I said to myself, well, okay, let me go listen to it and see what's the deal with it. And the truth is, well, before I carry on, let me just show you the box. As was to be expected by Raptgo, I mean, and the Hook X was an amazing unboxing experience. So I honestly, when I heard Raptgo had now a single dynamic driver, I knew that in terms of packaging at least it was going to be something nice. So this is the box. Okay, it's got some info in the back, a diagram of the driver, well, no, this is just the address, so no real other extra information there. Okay, you open it up. Very nice presentation, just like on the Hook X. Open it up. It's got this like little paper here that covers up everything in a very smart way. The IMs obviously came over there. Alright, underneath is some paperwork. This here brings the carrying case, which is, the carrying case is neither good or bad. It's a decent enough carrying case physically as it is. I just don't fancy this print on it. I think it was not very tastefully done, but hey, that's just me. Inside here came the cable, which I'll show to you in a second, and I'll show you now the tips as well and everything. All right, so presentation, very neat, very organized, very nicely done. Good quality accessories. I mean, no real complaints. Okay, that's the truth. We're talking roughly about $130 for this IM. So for that price, what you're getting, spot on, perfect. Okay, it then brings this little box here, which is very cool actually, with the tips inside there nicely laid out, beautiful. Once again, very smart. All right, and then the IM itself, very nice cable, very similar to the cable of the Hook X, so very nice cable. A little bit tangly, especially in this part here, where it separates after the cinch. A little bit tangly. It's got a, it doesn't, but the rest of the cable is very nice. And the IEMs themselves, there we go, very nice, very beautiful. It's got a nice leaf shape to it. Seems to be an open back design. There's one peculiarity which I found quite interesting, which is the fact that the terminal actually goes inside of the shell. Let me see if I can, there we go, see? 2-pin shell, and then the terminal actually goes all the way inside. So I think in terms of security, this is probably the most secure let's say system I've ever seen. I mean, there's just no way that this is going to break. Okay, so that's it, nice and secure. Vent hole over there, as you can see, as I mentioned, and I alluded to the fact it's probably an open back design because of that there. It's a nice small shell, very light. The one detail worth mentioning is the nozzle length isn't exactly very long, and so there are a little bit, slight issues with fitment. I was able to eventually find the proper tip. Well, you already know which one it is, 07. But fitment isn't exactly perfect. Let's put it that way. Especially when you look at the IM and you don't think it's going to be an issue, honestly. Anyway, back to where I was in the beginning. So when I saw Hawaiian Bad Boys take on the Leaf, I was a little bit worried, I have to admit. And truth be told, I took out the Leaf, listened to them, and I confirm every word that he mentioned. It's a particular IM with a particular sound. that you will find in something like a TRN MT1. Actually, I think a TRN MT1 might actually be better. So it's not exactly what I was expecting from, firstly, Raptgo, a company which made the Hook X, which was so successful and is an amazing planar IM, or planar hybrid, if I'm to be more correct. Thirdly, definitely not worth the price with the sound it was having. And I said to myself, no. Honestly, I don't know if anybody from Raptgo is going to see this video. And if they do see, let me just say that it's as simple as a nozzle filter change. That's it. You change the nozzle filter on this IM, and those of you who have it, if you've bought it and you don't like the sound, I'll be more than happy to help you out. Just send me a private message and I'll help you out. You change the nozzle filter on this thing, and this is probably the most radical IM, or one of the most radical IM changes I have seen. It goes from being mediocre at best to being something which I have no problems in comparing with some of the class leaders, let's put it that way. And by class leaders, what am I talking about? I have no issues with now comparing it with a Kato. I have no problems comparing it with a Lasya, with a BQEYZ Autumn, with a Hana 2021, with an Oxygen, with the Tripowin OLINA. It's now stands and can battle it out with any of these IMs in front of you. In stock format, forget it. It's a peaky mess, very thin in the base. I'll show you the graphs in a couple of minutes. Very thin in the base, peaks all over the place. No, it's a total mess. And all I can say is that I was very surprised that Raptgo would release something like this. I mean, I'm trying to understand their positioning. I'm trying to understand that they wanted to do a different tuning. No. Please forgive me. The person that tuned this IM, he limited himself to taking the driver, shoving it in the shell, and that's it. He did not tune this, because if he had tuned it, he would have seen what I have seen, and he would have seen that it's preferable to have it tuned in a way which is similar to the Kato, to the OLINA, to the Hana, and to the Oxygen. It's better to have it tuned in a similar format to that, and at least it sounds good, and people that buy it will be happy, than to have it tuned the way it is. Okay. As I was saying, I compared it to a number of IEMs in stock format. Not even worthy of talking about any of these. But after it's been readjusted, retuned, whatever you want to say, it now does become an interesting sounding IM. It's got more of a brightish signature still. It's a signature which is very much similar towards the OLINA and the Oxygen. So I would say, to try and summarize it, I would say that the Raptgo as it is now tuned sounds very much like a stock OLINA. And by a stock OLINA, I mean an OLINA with just one damper, where it is a little bit bright, can be a little bit peaky at 5K, but overall it's an amazing IM. Okay, that's the stock OLINA. You double damper it and you reduce that peak. It completely transforms the OLINA as well into a much more tame and at least for me, much more friendly IM. And this is kind of it's not a stock OLINA, it's not a modified OLINA, it's somewhere in between there, because the 5K peak here is not in your face. It's I didn't find it to be in any way sibilant. Yes, it is energetic, but not sibilant. And the bass, after it's been modified, also gains its deserved weight, although I guess you could still increase it a little bit more, but I wanted to keep it to a very simple as possible mod. Okay, as with compared to the Kato, Kato is gets some love from some people, gets not so much from others. Personally, I think the Kato is amazing. Mids on the Kato, tremendous. I like the way the bass is textured. Okay, fine, sometimes it can be a little bit cold, but I like the way the bass is reproduced. love the mids. It's got more than enough extension for me, in my opinion. Decent technicalities. I mean, there's a reason why it's a reference for me at $200. Okay, so this becomes, I would say, probably out of all the other IEMs here, the two that it approximates itself the most to is the Kato and, like I said, the Olina. All right. As compared to the Lasya, and please keep in mind that this Lasya as well, I've modified it. I've also done the same thing to it that I did to this, because in stock format, no. Compared to the Lasya as it is now, the base on the Hibi is a little bit more full. It's got more body to it. It's a slightly darker IEM than this, so it will be a little bit more, let's say, warmer sounding. Okay. Tonality, I found personally I find the tonality of the modified Hibi Lasya very correct, very much along the lines of what I like. But having said that, the tonality of the leaf, of the modified leaf, is not wrong. It's not wrong. Okay. Overall, which of the two do I think is more to my liking? The leaf modified. Okay, modified. Although I do like particular things about the Hibi, like I mentioned, I still think that the leaf modified is edges out the Lasya, especially when it comes to detailed retrieval, imaging. It's better. As compared to the BQEYZ, they're very much on par with each other. This BQEYZ here is running the stock filter there, so for no bass boost, let's put it that way, and it's also running a little slight mod on the nozzle, again a filter change on the nozzle. And for what reason? For the reason which I've mentioned before when I reviewed it, which is to tame down that 5K peak. The moment that 5K peak is tamed down, the Autumn becomes an awesome IEM. Honestly, awesome. Crazy good in the bass department. Very good in the bass department. Honestly, no real need to even change it to the filter, to the gold filter, which increases the, to the silver filter, which increases the bass. No real need. With the stock filter, it's fine. These two, I would say, are very much on par with each other, although different overall kind of signatures. This is more, again, warmish, but it's very capable in terms of its technicality. So I would say these two are very much on par with each other, very much on par with each other. Hana 2021 and Oxygen, these two are basically almost identical, the bass there, well, for me at least, I find it amazing. A little bit more warmish, more bodied in the Hana, a little bit less so in the Oxygen, but it's also because the Oxygen is a little bit more open in the mids. Mids on either one are tremendous as well. I mean, these two, they outright, they beat the leaf, the modified leaf. They beat it. They don't beat it like, rip it apart or anything of the sort, but it beats the leaf. And it's funny because, as I mentioned in the beginning, these two, although very comparable, it's actually the Kato that, the leaf actually comes closer to the Kato than it does to the Hana. And it's more down to the base and how the base is and the cleanliness of the base. Not that it isn't a clean base. It is a clean base over there. It's just got more. It's got more. I don't know what the correct word would be. Girth, more weight, more. It's just got more presence there. Here it can sometimes be clinical, and the base here can sometimes be clinical. The Oxygen, well, those that follow me already know. I'm not going to talk too much. Amazing IEM for me. That and the Orioles Isabelli are my two references in terms of single DDs. Up to this date, I have not heard a single DD IEM that has impressed me more than either one of these. I heard the Dark Magician, the first generation. I have to say that I like it. I really do. If the price was right, I probably would have bought one. You might say, oh, but hold on, but the Isabella is also crazy money. Well, I've got it in second hand for a really good deal. So if I can ever get my hands on a Dark Magician first generation at the same price I got the Isabella, it will definitely be part of my collection for sure, because it is a very good IEM. It is. I just feel that it's not superior to the Oxygen or the Isabella. That's my opinion. And then finally the Tripowin, the OLINA, the go-to IEM single DD at $100. It is superior to the Leaf modified. It is. I'm not going to say it isn't. It is superior. Technically, it is very, very capable. Very, very capable. We know that, especially in terms of its 3D capabilities, which the Leaf is not able to do it as well. But it beats it. Firstly, because it gives you the same sound, basically, and cheaper even. So right there, it's a winner. And then in terms of its fit and so on, it's also more favorable than the fit of the Leaf. And yeah, that basically I think positions the Leaf nicely. Modified, I'll just recap. Modified, its leanness in the bass disappears. It gains 2-3 dBs in the bass, which are very much welcomed. Gives it a nice fullness. The bass is a good bass in stock format in terms of its quality. It's just very thin. With this mod, it now becomes more present, and that quality that it or the qualities that it have are able to shine through better. So bass fine, mids modified perfect, very, very nice. I mean, yes, the mids over there are better. The mids here in the Kato is better. The mids in the OLINA are also probably better. So I would say it beats the mids of the Lasya. It's comparable to the mids of the BQEYZ, but the differences are not day and night. You know, please keep that in mind. It's not huge differences. In terms of the high frequency, it's energetic. I would say it would be very much a question of what you're listening to, okay, and what source you are using. So I would probably recommend a darker sounding source for this, something with an AKM DAC. Usually it's got a more dark sound as opposed to an ESS. Having said that, I tried it with the M15, loved it. Tried it with the UA3, loved it. Tried it with my DX3 Pro, fine. The only one that, in my opinion, didn't match optimally with this was the TK2, and that doesn't mean, and the Megatron as well. They are two very bright sounding, very, you know, and this is already bright. Even modified, it still carries on being energetic. So, you know, be careful with what source you would couple this to. And yeah, that's basically it, guys. Not modified or stock format. If you haven't got it, don't buy it. Honestly, don't. There are better options. Go for an OLINA, period. If you do want to have it, if you want to be a Raptgo fan and you want to have it, then please keep in mind that stock, you will most likely not like it. 95% guarantee that you're not going to like it. And modified, amazing. Really nice. Honestly, really nice. Anyway, guys, I'll show you the graphs now. Just a quick run through the graphs, and that's it. So as always, you know, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, take care. Hi guys, as promised, here is the section where I just show you the graphs, and you can afterwards take your conclusions. But as you can see from the stock graph of the Leaf, very kind of flattish on the base side, and then with these peaks at you know, 2.5 and one at 5.5, and then another cup. It's just not a satisfying IEM to listen to. I mean, that's I'm not in any way trying to be you know, complicated or anything of the sort. I'm just calling it by its name, and that's the reality. This is it compared to the modified version, and as you can see, completely different. I mean, you gain a little bit on the bass department here, 2-3 dBs like I mentioned, especially below 100 Hertz, and this peak here is taken away. The pin again is smoothed out and almost comes up to about 3K. It very much maintains itself at the same level all the way through to 8K. So gone again is those peaks that almost 5 and so on and so forth. And it becomes a way more pleasurable IEM to listen to. I mean, as you can see by the curve, it's a nicer curve. As I also said, I compared it to some IEMs, and this is, for example, the Moondrop Kato, and the Kato graphs, as you can see, almost identical. You can see is that the presence area of the leaf modified is a little bit more energetic, and you can hear it, you notice it, and as well past 10K there's more energy as well, which you can hear and notice. The rest, the bass and so on and so forth, is very, very similar, so nothing much to be said there. This is with the Oxygen, again very similar, and although graphically in terms of the bass they seem identical, no, the bass, the tonality of the bass in the Oxygen is just well, it is what it is. And the Hana's graph is basically the same thing, it's just got a little bit extra bass here at the top. So basically that's with the Oxygen. Again, although very similar in terms of what it feels like energetically here, you do notice that there's a slight more, well, the Oxygen is more controlled. It's equally as energetic, it's equally as bright, let's put it that way, but it's just more controlled, okay? That's the Oxygen. This one is, oh, well, this one, actually, let me first get the Hebe and the BQEYZ out of the way. So the Hebe is this one. Let me change the color so it's more visible. The Hebe, again, although the bass sounds or looks like the graph's the same, the Hebe's bass is more full. It's just got more weight to it, okay? And then yes, it's not as energetic, as you can see, past 10K, and also in this area here, which on the one hand, yes, no sibilance, no nothing, but it just makes it sound darker. You know, I wouldn't say it's closed in, it's just darker sounding, that's it. Okay, the BQEYZ is next. Oh yeah, again, you see that the graph base-wise is very similar, and then the rest of the spectrum as well, similar-ish in the mids, dip there before, you know, which actually helps out with part of the technicalities of the BQEYZ, but I still think that the technicalities overall of the leaf are superior. Although graph-wise, you see, like I said, that the base area here, so sub-bass, bass, and lower mids are similar. You feel that it's got way more presence, way more volume in the Autumn, and this is down basically to the size of the driver, which is a larger driver. And finally, the Tripowin, the OLINA, and there you go, as you can see, very nice in terms of the bass as well, very similar, but it's got that extra weight, as is also noticed. It's a tonality thing that you notice it in the bass of the Hana and Oxygen. It's just got a little bit different tonality. Very similar in the pin again and the way that it plateaus, as you can see, very similar. But then it's this area here which kind of differentiates the two, and you notice that the OLINA just, in terms of its technical abilities, just steps forward. It's not significantly, but it steps forward. It's very easy to notice that the OLINA is a more technically capable IEM. And that's it, guys. That's basically the graph, or the graphs comparison. And as I said, do this to the IEM if you want to enjoy it. Do this and you'll enjoy it. Everything sits nicely within a not even a 9 dB window, more or less. You could say this is it's a kind of a mild V shape. Nothing. I wouldn't really say it's a significant V, because the pin again is very, very, very smooth, and everything is just, after it's modified, everything is just very, very smooth. So non-aggressive, non-harsh, nothing of the sort. Alright guys, thank you. Take care. Bye bye.